What's up, guys? This is Caleb Wilt, and you're watching Christian Hannah Horror.
You can support me on Patreon for just $1 a month. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hannah Horror here today. We have another horror room guest. This is a good buddy of mine, Caleb. And unlike Daniel, what's going to be interesting is Caleb knew me well before I was a horror fan. And now I am a horror fan, so that's going to be interesting, getting his take on what he thinks about that whole thing. First off, Caleb, thanks for coming here.
For sure, man.
And give me your look around and tell me your first, and don't hold back. What's your impression? Are you is this crazy to you? Did you not know it was going to be this wild? Or
It's not really that crazy. I mean, I like it. You know, I like scary movies and stuff like that.
I think it's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah,
man.
it's definitely rock and roll.
Yeah. So let's get into this because, you know, like I said, the last guy, Daniel, I started working with him, and that's how he knew I was already a horror fan. But Caleb and me, we go way back.
Like 8th grade or something, right?
2000, the pop punk days. 2008
or
no,
it was like 5.
Because I moved up here from Katrina. I'm from I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. I'm from New Orleans, and then I moved up here because of Hurricane Katrina up north Louisiana, and then Caleb was one of the first guys I met. We started playing music together and stuff. And
only he was known as Shoe Pick, not Christian.
And that Shoe Pick was like a weird nickname. I knew this was gonna happen. Shoe Pick is it's a weird fish my uncle told me about back in New Orleans, just dirty fish. And I told somebody the story. It might have been Caleb, not, but that was my name. Nobody called me Christian.
He said you find it down in the
you find it in the ditch.
You find it down in the ditch,
and you fry it in mustard. Yeah. Was the story. I have no. That was my uncle's. My uncle's a strange character. But so Caleb, let me ask you this. Now that I'm this big horror fan and everything, how did you first find out about me becoming a horror fan? Was it just Facebook posts or what?
I started noticing like an 80s thing. I was apprenticing doing hair for my mom.
Right.
And he came in and wanted Rocky. He wanted a Rocky haircut.
I remember that. I think I even specifically said, do this for me.
Yep,
I showed you a picture of Rocky.
Yep.
It started out with the 80s stuff, and that was my first love till this day. The Rocky. I'm a big Stallone guy. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. I just really got into that stuff. Right. And I guess, you know, it's funny when we talk about, you know, a lot of my friends that are older. They're just like, oh, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of that, and to me, it's all new. I guess that's why I love a lot of that, the '80s, the Rockies, and the horror movies from the '80s, and even the '80s music, because I'm experiencing it all now. I'm really diving in and finding that stuff. But
right.
So when did the horror start coming into play? And give me your unfiltered opinion on, like, were you saying what's going on with Christian, man, or was it just like, hey, whatever, you know?
I don't really remember exactly. When it kind of dawned on me that you had like a newfound obsession. But I think I probably just started noticing a lot of like maybe Facebook posts and stuff like that. And I thought it was a little weird, you know, just because my mind is like really far from the 80s, and that's where it started, you know.
Right. A lot of this stuff, horror in here, is just dead middle in the 80s. And
right.
That's the heyday of just horror movies.
Right. I didn't really think anything of it though, you know. But I also didn't know the depth.
Right. So when you came in here, was it? Were you like, whoa? I didn't know it was this, because you see the videos, the videos before, and you see this vision of what the horror room is. But when you walk in here, is it like, okay, I wasn't expecting like this, clowns and all that, or
not really? I mean, I've kept up with you over the years
right.
and followed some stuff, so it didn't shock me too bad. But on the, like I said, I think it's cool stuff.
All right. So let me ask you this: What was your preconceived notion of horror fanatics? Do you still find me to be like a rare type? Like, well, Christian's a horror fan, but Christian's not like horror fans, or what's your preconceived, unfiltered notion of what a horror fanatic looks like, acts like?
Honestly, I picture somebody that works at Hot Topic, or like Spencer's or something.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure there's people that do that.
Yeah, and it's just that smell that you get in there, that weird, like almost like horror smell.
I know what you're talking about. I can't. There's no name for it, but
it might be patchouli. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I pictured.
Okay, so let me ask you this: in your life, as far as being a horror fan? What's your is horror movies just something? Okay, yeah, I enjoy that every now and then. Do you ever find yourself saying, "Man, I want to watch some horror movies"? Is there any movies that are close to you that are horror movies that you really love?
Um,
Or is it not your cup of tea at all?
It's not really my cup of tea. I love Halloween. I've always loved.
Are we talking the movie?
Max.
Talking about,
no, I'm just talking
holiday?
about just the holiday in general. Like,
Okay,
I
we'll
like
speak on that.
I like the whole theme, and I don't know. I never really got too close with any like traditional horror movies, because by the time I started watching those newer, like, you know, more realistic, I guess, stuff kind of was happening in the movie
Like
scene.
in the last 5 or 10 years, or?
Right? Yeah, or maybe even 15 years.
Like let me give you an example. Like maybe The Ring or something. Was that when you
Yeah,
really started
that
getting
was
into
the
horror?
stuff. No, I love scary movies. Like 13 Ghosts is probably one of my favorite scary movies.
That's my wife's one of her favorites.
Really?
She
I
loves,
love that.
Who's the guy who's Shaggy was in the movie? The guy
Yeah, I don't
he was
know
in
his
Scream
name.
too, but that guy the comment section is gonna be blowing up with. I
Right.
can't believe you don't. He's from Scream, but so was it not a for me? It was somewhat of an influence. Like my grandma is a diehard Stephen King fanatic. Was your parents? That wasn't their thing at all. Is it?
Not really.
It was never. Hey, let's go to the movies and let's go see Saw together or something
No,
like that.
they really didn't watch too much of that, and then they kind of kept me away from that stuff when I was a kid.
Really?
Like I can remember. I mean, now I don't know how young I was, so don't beat up on them too much. But I can remember, like, how your mom has like 30,000 pillows on their bed, and they put them all in a corner and only sleep with two.
Yes.
Well, that was their room, and it was like right in between these two like dressers, and I can remember just like hiding in there to watch. I don't even remember exactly what it was. It wasn't even that scary though, whatever it was, and they caught me, and I was like in trouble.
Really?
For being in there. It was X-Files. That's what it was.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you? Were you
I have
were you
no
a little
idea.
tyke, a little puppy?
I was little for sure.
Okay.
But that's like my first memory of like.
That was your first. So do you remember? Is that like your first movie nightmare? Do you remember? Was there ever a movie that like you watched it, whether it be older now or younger, where you literally could not sleep for a few days? Has there ever been an experience like that, or?
Not really. For some reason, they've never really just scared me too bad. But it's more like it doesn't keep me from falling asleep. Maybe for like a minute, but usually it's like the walk to my room and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like just.
So you can easily snap back to
Yeah.
reality. I think that's
Yeah.
my problem, man. When I watch some of these movies, I purposely try to get lost. I'm sure you do it with music, being a
Yeah.
musician. Both of us musicians, like you put this album on, whatever, you want to sink into it, you want to forget everything.
Right.
That's me with movies, and I think that kind of works against me. Till this day, I search for movies. Daniel spoke on something that I like. Let me ask you the same question. Are you somewhat of a thrill seeker? Do you like to feel alive? Do you like to do things that challenge you in a sense mentally? Like, oh my God, I'm really about to do this. Are you like you're a cool, calm, collected, go with the flow?
For the most part, I'm go with the flow. Like I'm not really a roller coaster kind of guy. I'm
Really?
not like I don't like haunted houses.
We mentioned this to Caleb. I told Caleb there's a haunted house by. I was like, let's go, dude. He goes, no, I'm not going. Dude, it's funny because I swear to God, I get ragged on by my wife and my friends. I'm the same way.
Really?
But once I worked in the haunted house last year, and
Right.
once you're there, it's just like, I think what it is for me is just the unknown. Is that the
Yeah.
same thing for you? It's just, if you could see a YouTube video of a haunted house, would you be like, okay, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But it's-
yeah.
I think that's what's scary to everybody, and that's a universal thing. It's just the fear of the unknown.
Well, I think it's also kind of like you're saying. You like to kind of like submerge yourself into a movie. That's how I feel in a haunted house.
Yeah, and that's
Like the way you get yourself mentally for the movie. That's how I feel in the haunted house. So
Yeah.
it's like.
it's
Yeah.
not even just like a 3D movie. It's there. It's real.
Yeah.
It's like you're really in the movie. Kind
And
of
it's
thing.
like I can tell myself like this isn't real, but I'm still gonna freak out. So it doesn't
Exactly, yeah.
matter.
Oh man. So let me ask you a couple more questions. As far as after knowing me now and knowing what I'm like as far as horror fanatics go, what would you say to somebody now who says, because there are people that say this, man, horror people are weird, they got problems. They don't think right. It's strange for some reason that they're into this. Can you speak on that and your perception of it now?
You know, I guess my perception is kind of the same. You know, I had that kind of stereotypical like picture in my mind of a horror person, but I don't know. You know, I guess it kind of cleared my eyes a little bit, and you know, and if you think about it, everybody's got something they like.
Do you have any strange obsessions, or is it mostly just the
Honestly,
music?
I really don't. I'm one of those people that's just like kind of like a hobbyist. So I have like a million things that I like to do, and there's no way I could just pick one thing and make a room of it.
Right.
Besides music, but that's really because you have to.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got something, you know, something weird or something that, you know, they kind of obsess about either mentally or physically. Yeah.
There's a lot of money in this room, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I believe it.
But guys, I just want to say, Caleb, first off, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Sure, dude.
We got a new band. Once we get some stuff out, I'll tell you guys about that fabulous singer right here. But
Cold Canyons.
Cold Canyons,
Cold
okay.
Canyons.
Hashtag Cold Canyons and hashtag Don't Judge. I'm trying to spread awareness about horror fans, and I'm bringing people in like Caleb, like Daniel, that can talk to this and say, hey, these regular people just like everybody else. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.